A big thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, and a big thanks to all of these donators of $5 or more. Gloomy Horse, Anenthusiast, Willie Davenport, and Vlad Tepish 3176. You all helped make these episodes possible.
Howdy, insufferable gaming fans. Your old pal Rosser here. Today, we're doing another one-off. I have to be very quiet because my family has a bunch of guests and they are mostly asleep. Now, until about 3 seconds ago, I wouldn't have had to worry as much because my 3D printer was going in the background. However, it just stopped. Let's see what it has wrought. I'm sure this will be interesting to at least one person in the world. Ah, yes. Here we are. It's a mangled mess. But if we break off the support structures using our handy dandy pliers, we mostly get a skeleton key. I'll have to do a little bit more pliering on it a little later, but now's not the time. For now, we have this one-off game that I'd like to show you guys. It's called Fight and Rage. Now, I'm not sure how the audio levels are, because as soon as I click off of this game, it stops making any noise. Yes, Dead Zergling, a 3D penis would have been a good guess. And if anyone wants to order a 3D penis, I would be happy to print them one for a fee. I've been trying like hell to get a new job, and so far, I haven't gotten any callbacks. So, this is a nice little game. It's multiple players. Unfortunately, I don't have any friends. Here's a quick tutorial. In the vein of old Neo Geo games from back in the day, where they used to show you what buttons did which. You might notice some big old wobbly milkers. This is normal, as big old wobbly milkers are part of the art style of this game. By the way, I'm not touching anything here. It's just showing you how things go. I'd like to point out that as a fighting game, one of the characters' names is Gal, a delightful reference to how one of the names in Fuckadoodle game was Guy. Now, we have 3 fighters to pick from. We have Gal, of course. We have Ricardo. And we have my favorite, fuck Norris. Obviously, I'll be using Mr. Norris. I do not want to continue my previous game Wait, which difficulty did I just pick? Hang on. I didn't pay attention to the difficulty I selected. Ah, yes. Normal difficulty will be fine. Alright. Let's check out a few plot points. Now, this game shares a lot of similarities with the old Shadows over Mystara games, by which I mean there are multiple paths you can go by. For instance, you might notice a pointer in the lower left corner. We could escape or we could go forward. These will take us through different plot lines. Obviously, you can pick up weapons. Final Fight. That's the name of the game I was looking for. Considering that was the second game I ever owned on the Super Nintendo, you'd think it wouldn't have been that hard for me to remember that. Ah yes, good old Chuck Norris jokes. I do appreciate them. When it says demonstration, you have a few seconds to grab a weapon before you're forced into the next scene. The P-Orb gives you either a period of infinite special attacks, or just a whole lot of regular attacks that do more damage, depending on how you use it. What I like about this game is that there are a lot of subtle things you can do to influence the paths you take. I'll try to demonstrate a few of them if I can, but no promises. Whoops. I seem to have missed. Oh my. I would have hoped to have gotten a weapon from that. I'll explain why a bit later. So apparently, the plot of this game, and I've picked it up mostly from just the wonderful in-game arcade-style cutscenes, is that there's a world where humans are now second-class citizens under the thumb of brutal animal people. And then from there, several different plot lines may unfold. Did she just call me a loser? That's not very nice at all, is it, Steve? I do enjoy something about getting good combos in this game. When you get really good combos in this game, it's very satisfying, I must say. Also, when you take a bunch of damage, you can usually tell why it's your own fault. And it doesn't feel like it's a cheap shot most of the time. Let's see what we've got now. Stop there. Stay back or I'll kill her. Now, here's a place where you have a choice. Now, I haven't gone all the way through this game, but one thing I've noticed is that you can, if you manage to keep a weapon, like a knife or a pipe, all the way to this point, you have a choice to make here. You can throw the knife at the enemy and take him out, but if you don't have anything to throw, you have very little choice but to move forward. In fact, the game doesn't give you any choice at all if you didn't think to bring something to toss. In which case, the girl was not long for this world. Unfortunately, but these things sometimes are unavoidable. Sad as it is. Let's see how we did with that level. Not terrible. Though I wish I could have saved the girl. That would have been a nice bonus. If you save the girl here, you have a choice of paths to take. The translation, I must say, is a bit sketch, as it were. Yes, a treacherous ninja. That's a good word for the way I fight. One of these days I should play Ninja Gaiden Sigma for the PS3. And might I say, Day A AM. I must say, I haven't listened to any of the music after the very first level, because when I was playing this game just for funsies, I had all the music turned down, and I was just listening to podcasts and stuff. But I must say, so far, it's pretty rad. Now those motorcycles, they will damned explode. So you gotta make sure that you're not standing near them when they do. or you will get wrecked. Very extremely wrecked. There's the pipe that I needed earlier. A pipe, which I might add, would have been extremely helpful. I could have thrown that at the cat general and saved the girl that he was threatening. But unfortunately, I didn't pick one up. I believe it would have been in that one barrel that I was going for when the cutscene ended. Fuck your stomach, said I to that wolf person. By the way, how are the audio levels? DZ? Do you still happen to be there? If you are, I would love to know if the audio levels are okay. And also, it is very fortunate that that barrel contained a chicken. Otherwise, I would be very low on health right now. Terribly low on health indeed. Again, for those of you who are wondering, I'm speaking very quietly on account of because I have family visiting for the holiday weekend, and they're sleeping in the next rooms. So I'm trying to be very careful about speaking too loudly or getting too enthusiastic. Now, when you get in trouble, you can always wait for your SP meter to refill, because that's usually an attack that's much harder to block, you see. Not always, though. It doesn't always work when you need it the most. I feel like for not having played in a while, I did okay. Sometimes enemies come down to knowing when not to hit them, when to dodge, for instance. Now things are getting very dangerous. Fortunately, this particular enemy hits his own guys. Huh. I did not realize that he would bust open the wall there. I wonder if that's a new potential pathing. fact, it could very well be my imagination. And it was already broken, and I just heard the neat sound effects. If you take a really bad hit and you immediately hit jump, you can oftentimes recover. Which is nice. Alas, I was not quite able to do it. That was very sloppy, I must say. Not well played at all. Sometimes I wonder how this game would play if you had multiple players. For instance, it says that there's a 3-player mode, but I only have a 4-player mode. Or it says there's a 3-player mode, but it seems like there's room to unlock more player modes. So I'm wondering if there are more player characters that are available. I've unlocked other playable characters for the fighting mode, which is like the Double Dragon fighting mode, which is to say not very interesting. However, also, I found out we can break open these doors. Not that most of them do you any good, mind. I did, however, release what I like to refer to as some big-titted hoes. So that was nice. Now, I have taken my time with these levels and been very methodical and done a lot better on them. But again, that was a couple months ago when I was playing this regularly. So please excuse me if I'm not doing a fantastic job right now. It's to be expected betimes. And there we go.
Loser.
I have lost this day. Alas. But you get coins so you can do unlocks. Now, I could continue for hours because you start on the level where you had to continue. However, if I did that, we'd be here all night. And I really just wanted to give you guys a taste of what this game was like. It's a lot of fun. I recommend it. So, if you're interested, give it a shot, I would say. It has a lot of the hallmarks of the classic old arcade beat-em-ups. And the name of the game is Fight and Rage. So, feel free to grab it if you care to. Meanwhile, I'm going to stop this episode here. Until next time, thank you all for watching. This has been your old pal Rosser. Take a drink. And hopefully my quietude did not put you off too much of this episode, in which I should have been shouting and pumping my fists in the air and enjoying every minute of it. What can you do? Relatives visiting.